Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Tanner's Favorite Things. I am Tanner Knight, and today we are going to do a little teardown of this guitar. So this video was requested specifically by Flipper1 FLPPR1, and you wanted to see a teardown, so I figured I haven't actually looked under the hood for this guitar, so let's take a look at what comes shipped with this Fender Aerodyne Telecaster from Japan. So to refresh your memory, that's exactly what this is. The Fender Aerodyne series is a special series by Fender that utilizes a almost 90-degree angle here. It's a sharper edge than you would normally see on a Telecaster. Plus binding, plus they get special pickups and some other special appointments, a matching headstock. So that's the Fender Aerodyne series. This is the Fender Aerodyne Telecaster, which I believe most of this series is made in Japan, if not the entire Aerodyne line. But there's the Telecaster, there's the Jazzmaster, there's all of the Fender guitars in this configuration, as well as the basses. You can find the Precision and Jazz bass in the Aerodyne configuration. So that's what we have here. This guitar, like I said, was made in Japan, Fender Japan that is, not a knockoff or anything like that. This is an actual Fender licensed product out of their Japanese factory. And it's kind of special because it has a non-Fender bridge. I believe this is a Babsic or Babix. I don't know how to pronounce that brand name, but that brand of bridge. And we also have some specially wound single coil pickups in this guitar as well. Oh, Smokey makes an appearance. Smokey! Smokey! Otherwise, we have the standard Telecaster layout of volume tone and a three-way switch. But you'll notice there's no plate holding it on here like a regular Telecaster. It's just right on the top of the wood. And the reason for that is because this is not a perfectly flat design like a normal Telecaster. It actually has a bevel to it. And I'm not sure if you can catch that bevel, but it does have a slightly arched or rounded top, carved, whatever you want to call it. It's slightly different. It fades away here. It's a little thinner here than it is here. Same with here versus here, and that's one of the features of the Aerodyne series of Fender guitars. All right, so before we take the strings off of this, let's just flip it around, see what we do have that's unusual for a Telecaster. We have a back plate. Like I said, the Telecaster is usually top loaded with a plate holding it onto the top that acts as a pickguard as well, but it's metal. But in this case, we have a routed little channel for all of our switches and knobs. So that's a slight departure, but that's kind of what is the nature of the beast here. Otherwise, 4-bolt, just regular Fender style. String through, we have the metal ferrules that pop out of the back. They're not recessed in, so they're actually proud a good, I don't know, millimeter or so. And that's the back of this thing. The neck is maple, beautiful maple. It looks like there's a bit of a tinted lacquer on it. These are usually quite blonde otherwise, so I think they kind of vintaged it up by putting a tinted lacquer on here. But you can see the walnut skunk stripe, made in Japan, serial number, our locking Fender tuners, which is a really nice touch on any guitar, so I really appreciate that. Thank you, Fender. I'm just going to loosen these up now because we're going to get rid of these strings here in a second, but let's do this first. Whoa, that last one was hanging on by a thread. So that's our back of the Fender Aerodyne Telecaster. Let's go ahead and take the back plate off too while we're here and take a look what's behind door number 1. This is kind of a rare treat to be able to see inside of a Telecaster. I guess you could do the same from the top on a regular Telecaster, but usually there's a back plate that holds the hardware, so this is a little different. And there is some shielding on the back, so that's nice, keeps it nice and quiet. And our toggle switch looks pretty nice. Let's get a close-up of that. So we do have a little tiny yellow capacitor on our tone pot. Yellow and gray wiring. Looks like there's some white and black in there as well. But pretty nice wiring as far as tidiness goes and everything. Let's take a look at the pot codes. So these are Alpha made in Korea pots. They are marked simply 321. Blast off. And again, the solder work looks really, really nice in here, very clean, no issues to report. The route through to the pickups is a little gnarly, not the cleanest route. I can't really fault them for that too much because it's hidden, obviously. But we do have the same shielding paint, or it's not the same, it's different, but there's shielding paint in this entire cavity, and you can see some of that foil looks like has kind of leached off from here, but there is shielding all inside this entire cavity. So I'm not going to take the neck off. Obviously, we haven't done anything with the strings. So let's go back here and start addressing that little piece first. I love these locking tuners because there is not much of the string that needs to be held on. So they come out nice and easy. Okay, so these are string through strings. So let's feed these through the back. Okay, now we are in business. So there are tiny screws. I hope my screwdriver will fit on these that take the bridge pickup out. But this all should be pretty straightforward. So let me retrain the camera and start taking this stuff apart. All right, let's see what's under door number 1 here. So interesting. The issue, or one of the issues, is that these big old saddles are in the way. I believe that our pickup is held on by these 3 here. So this whole plate should come out with just simply removing these 5 and maybe this one, but a little hard to get to these screws. Let me see what I can do. Okay, looks like they have some pretty good movement. You can push them out of the way, and it appears that there are 4 of them. Interesting number. Okay, so it looks like it is free just with those 4 screws. So we'll see how much lead line we have. Enough to flip it over. So this does say Babicz, B-A-B-I-C-Z, US patent, blah, 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 blah. So that's what the back of this looks like. This is a Fender special wound Japanese Aerodyne bridge pickup. No markings, just black and yellow. So inside the cavity, again, very nice workmanship. There's a route all along the inside of this edge that I don't know what it does, but it looks like it just raises a bit more material so they don't route as much of the body away. I guess that could be something that could contribute to sustain. Not 100% sure, but the route is 100% clean. There's a little grounding wire right here that is firmly affixed. It doesn't go underneath the bridge or anything, so that's nice. And the neck wiring goes all the way up here. So let's see if we can get this pickup off without having to switch bits. These screws appear to also be responsible for the height adjust of this pickup. So I'm going to kind of just visually remember that it was pretty decked all the way down. Luckily, my screwdriver just fits in these screws. It kind of looks like doing one screw and the other is a bad idea. So if you are going to take this pickup out, I suggest kind of doing them simultaneously and try to match the height so that it's not too far down. So there you go. Let me wind this one out the rest of the way. And I think we're free and clear. So this is the screw that holds this pickup down. There's 2 of them. Not a lot of slack in these wires, so I'm afraid we're not going to be able to see what this thing looks like. But let me see, we might just be caught here. There we go. There was 1 extra turn left. So we've got not much to see here. A foam block that is just glued to the bottom of a plastic plate. No markings. But we do have another grounding wire right here. So I assume that's for the white lead in here. Pretty nice. All the shielding paint inside looks good. The route looks great. When you don't have any pick guards or any rings covering up these routes, it's critical that they're sharp. And these couldn't be nicer. Really, really nice workmanship by Fender Japan. Let's take this switch off here and take a look at it a little closer. Pretty loose on here. These are machine screws, so they're easy to keep track of because this is going into the metal plate of the switch. Let's take the little tip off. Wow. I don't know if we're going to be able to get this out of here. The switch tip is, there it goes. Okay. That's the firmest switch tip I've ever seen on a Telecaster. My Fender Telecaster Deluxe has the loosest one, so there you go. I'm going to put these pickups back in their place just because I'm not going to take them out or rewire anything. I just wanted to see behind them and see if we had any markings or brandings. But that's what you can expect to see in your Fender Aerodyne neck pocket. Pretty straightforward, nothing to see here, folks. See if this can find the hole. There we go. And instead of winding that down to where I think it should go, I'm going to affix this one first and kind of wind them down to match height. So it's not necessarily a height adjust system as it is just a foam block that provides a little bit of cushion in between the pickup and the guitar and makes it so it doesn't rattle around. So pretty nice but simple system here. Let's wind this down pretty far. It was buried almost in the body last time. These are pretty hot pickups for being single coils, but okay, let's leave that there and go with the bridge one last time. So normally I would take all of this off and polish this guitar and really give it a good thorough cleaning, but it's brand new. I've only played it maybe 10 times, so any crap on it's pretty superficial and I can just wipe it off, and I'll take that opportunity to do that, but I just don't see the necessity for a deep clean at this point. Okay, we don't want to put those in there too tight, so let's go ahead, add the middle screws. Okay, so that's pretty solid. I like that. It's only the 4 screws. We don't have any business down here. That's nice. Okay, let's flip it over, see what the switch tip or the switch actually looks like. All right, not much again to see here. Alpha branded. It's got a bunch of dust on it. I think that's probably just from living on a shelf somewhere, but it does say AG1 3P on the back. AG1 3P. Nice switch. I think that Fender USA would actually benefit from using these alpha switches and pots. I think they're a little cleaner than even what the USA stuff has to offer. So argue with me in the comments if you feel like you need to. Okay, so there we go. Let's go ahead and replace that as well. These are the machine screws, easy to find. Lining it up, however, there we go. Leave that a little bit loose. So these are, again, kind of flat on this dolphin gray finish, so I don't want to crank these all the way down into the finish, just so that they're tight. Again, they were pretty loose to begin with, but there's our switch back in order. Okay, let's see what's under this neck pocket. If you'll notice, I'm holding the neck in the pocket, putting pressure on the neck from below to keep the neck in the pocket because you never know how loose these things actually are. So I want to keep as much pressure on that as possible while screws are in it. But this one feels like it's pretty loose. Comes right out. Okay, what does this say? DC or GR, can't tell because it's drilled. Aerodyne, something. 2210220908. Some other kind of faint pressing here, a little P and a 3 and a 0 on that bottom corner. So interesting little headstock back there, quite a bit. And you can see this, this is actually the truss rod that is activated from this end here. So you can see how that is terminated, and the skunk stripe hides the rest of it. Here's the back of our tuners. And let's take a look at the neck pocket on the actual guitar. Okay, so I think it's probably safe to assume that that's DGR because that's what it says here. DGR, Aerodyne, TL, probably Telecaster, and then 2208, 12003. So pretty similar markings. You can see the maple is very unfinished here. They don't put any finish on it, so it's very blonde. Remember how I said that maple on the neck would be very blonde without the lacquer? It's kind of what it would look like. But you can see the route for routing those wires goes there. A little bit of dust in here, just blow that off. Yeah, looks good. I would say that this is a 2022 guitar and that the neck and the body match. So again, if I were to be doing a deep clean here, I would take these tuners off and wipe down the headstock, front and back, make sure it looks nice and shiny, but this is so shiny and nice already. I'm just gonna tighten these up because they probably came a little loose in shipment and, you know, winding. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that instead of a full wipe down. I just wanted to see behind the hood all of the hidden little details of this guitar. And flipper one, hopefully that is something that you were looking for here and that satisfies your need. Otherwise, like I said, this is a great guitar. I love playing it, and I'm gonna work it into the rotation a bit more now that I've taken it apart and had a bit of fun. But it's a really great quality, great sounding guitar, great looking guitar, great feeling guitar, you name it, it checks all of the boxes. Oh, we didn't take a look at our Fender backplate, but it does say Fender Aerodyne, and it's very fingerprinty right now, as chrome often gets, but it does say Fender Aerodyne. It doesn't have any other marking other than that. So that's your backplate. Let's see what one of these knobs looks like. We don't have to take off both of them, but they do have a very, very small set screw, which is there. Otherwise, a very basic knurled Telecaster knob. And the shaft of the pot, pretty straightforward, nice and simple. It does have a gold ring. Maybe that's something signifying the quality here or branding, but the barrel of this is a gold color. So there you go. Nice components. The beauty with the knurled knobs is that they don't have to be in any specific orientation, but I do try to hide the screws from your playing view. So let me just tighten that up. Boom. All right, so let's go ahead and put this thing back together. All right, she's back together, ready to rock. All right, she's all back together and rock solid. I did have to use new strings, not the end of the world, but yeah, so I had to replace the strings, which is not terrible. I believe that they did have the original strings now that I look at them, and they were just like kind of cheaper ones anyway. So we got brand new strings and everything else is ready to rock and roll. If you'd like a tone sample of this guitar, I'll link the video where I demo the actual pickups and, you know, give you a playing sample and all of that. But for now, I just wanted to tear this apart and give you an inside look into the Fender Japan Aerodyne Telecaster. Pretty great guitar. All right, let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like to see anything else a little closer, and I can do that. Otherwise, like and subscribe, that always helps, and I will see you on the next one.